this will be the last video of the day. And yeah, this is about the poor, horrible box office weekend that we're having. Of course, we talked about it to some extent last week, and we'll be talking about the full numbers here. And it seems that no one wants to watch Furiosa or Mad Max Saga. Okay, so if you do not know, they made a new Mad Max movie for like the two people who cared, but these are awful numbers. They're like, but it's a small IP. Of course, it's not gonna do too well. Okay, this movie is $160 million budget movie. Okay, this is not a very good performance for a movie that costs that much to make. It costs basically the same amount as Mad Max Fury Road. Again, I don't know why they. Again, I know the Mad Max movie. This movie got the reason probably why it costs so much because practical effects are actually pretty expensive. But yeah, they use a lot of practical and CGI in this movie. It's basically like Mad Max Fury Road. But the problem is, up until like 2 months before the movie came out, the movie was just called Furiosa. Okay, I'm sorry, she is not, an icon of the movie industry. No one says, oh yes, he's one of the most iconic characters in the movie industry. And stop telling me, and those people who are telling me, well, she is an icon of movie industry, well, the numbers speak for themselves. Okay, this character is not that iconic. Okay, the fact that they had to change it at the very last second to a Mad Max Saga to attempt to save this movie from being a box office failure really shows you that this movie wasn't gonna do too well, because most people like, who is Furiosa? Like, what is this movie even about? And like, 2 months into like 3 or 4 months before the movie comes, like, oh, it's a Mad Max movie. Okay, and I think a lot of people didn't even know it was a Mad Max movie until they said it was a Mad Max movie, and they put Mad Max in the title. Okay, I think if they did it from the start and said, oh yeah, is this a Furiosa, a Mad Max movie, or Mad Max Furiosa, I think it would have made way more money, because it's Mad Max. Mad Max is a Mad Max movie, a new Mad Max movie. I think they're still gonna be making more Mad Max movies, obviously, but it seems that they won't probably be making any prequels about random characters. Okay, Mad Max is not Star Wars. Mad Max is not Marvel. Mad Max is not a huge IP. Well, they can make a movie about a certain character. It can do well. Okay. Of course, it could pull Puss in Boots and have pretty good legs as well. Judging based off the numbers here, it is having pretty decent legs from its opening as well. And it might have very good legs similar to Mad Max Fury Road. I am not discounting that. Okay, Mad Max Fury Road didn't have a massive opening either, and it legged out to $150 million. This movie could still leg out to $100+ million if this movie has a good word of mouth. Okay, it could definitely do that. Elemental did it. Elemental had a very bad opening, or Sound of Freedom had a very small opening, but those movies ballooned to massive amount of money. This movie could very well do that. Okay, I am not discounting this movie. Okay, but it seems that most people don't really care about Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. For some reason, the name released in Austria and Chile. This says 31st of 2024. Yeah. But yeah, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, isn't doing too well. But of course, this movie could still have very good legs. Fury Road only opens below $40 million, around $45 million. And that movie still ended up making $150 million. It had very good legs. This movie could still have a very good word of mouth, very similar to Elemental did. Like, Elemental had a, very good word of mouth. But this movie was expected to open to $40-50 million. Okay, for the 4-day. But now it's going to open to $30 million. So this is a massive underperformance from this movie. Which means a lot of people probably didn't even want to see this movie. But I think there's a second reason why people didn't want to see this movie. I think people there's a small portion of people who didn't want to see the movie because they don't want to see it because it has a female lead. Because let's look at how poorly the Marvels did. Okay, no one was expecting the Marvels, a sequel to a $1 billion movie, to do this poorly. okay, to do as poorly as it did. Or, Madame Web, that was just a bad movie. But go back to last year, okay, 2023 worldwide, and you can go to the Marvels. Okay, what was it? The movie actually only ended up making $205 million globally. That for some reason the numbers doesn't have the final internet global totals for a lot of these movies. But either way, the Marvels is a massive, massive failure. Okay, no one went to go see this movie. It did very poorly globally, and it did very poorly in China, which the first movie made $150 million in China. Okay, this is way worse than how the first movie performed. Way worse. Okay. Yeah. But it's funny, the highest grossing movie of the year is a female lead movie. Okay. Which is pretty weird. Okay. But it seems that a lot of people thought that Furiosa, I'm assuming they thought it was a feminist movie. Which is why the movie didn't do too well. Okay. As well as the last movie. Because you think as movie as critically acclaimed as Mad Max Fury Road, okay, a movie as beloved as Mad Max Fury Road, wouldn't people watch the sequel? Wouldn't people watch the sequel to Mad Max Fury Road? Actually, it's supposed to be a prequel, but wouldn't people want to see more of Mad Max Fury Road? Not less? Okay? Wouldn't people want more of that? As well? Well, but again, I think people really don't want to see this movie because a lot of people tuned out because they thought it was a feminist woke movie as well. Also, Mad Max is not the biggest property in the world. Heck, Fury Road only opened to $45 million as well. So a lot of people probably, and also they didn't advertise it as a Mad Max movie until they sold like the trailers. Okay, everybody has assumed, oh, it's just a random non-franchise movie that no one's gonna watch. So a lot of people didn't know. It's actually. I think the word of mouth for Furiosa might be pretty strong though. Okay, I think once people realize that it's a Mad Max movie, like a lot of fans like it's actually like Fury Road, but it's a prequel. They're gonna have this movie's gonna have decent ratings at the box office. I don't know if it'll be able to crack $100 million. I actually think it is possible. Elemental did it with a small opening as well. But now we're talking about the Garfield movie. This is basically the meme movie. It's a joke movie. And I don't think they have updated the international total. But the movie has opened to $24 million. It is pretty funny that a meme movie, a joke movie basically, almost beat Mad Max. And this movie actually, oh my god, look at this drop. Look at this drop, 1 to 2%. You never see this in movies. Okay, this movie might have very good ratings. You never know. The 1 to 2% drop is never really seen in weekends. Okay, it actually was the number one movie on the 26th. Oh my god, the Garfield movie. It had very good ratings on the weekend. Usually, let's just compare it to Kung Fu Panda 4, the last major animated movie. It went up 18% on the second day, but then dropped 41%. So actually, it's in line with these types of movies typically do. And we can also do Migration as well. As well, Migration. That movie ended up making $297 million. It is one of the lowest grossing Illumination movies. Even like that movie had 28 to 49% drop. So actually, this is a very impressive. It's actually very impressive given the fact that the movie has a 37% Rotten Tomatoes. And the reason Rotten Tomatoes hates the movie is very stupid. Okay, that's quote unquote not true to Garfield. It's out of character. Worst movie ever. Okay, like these people, they really whine about the smallest of things. Okay, and we did an audience score. Last time I checked, it was like 80% of people like this movie. Okay, we have the updated score. Garfield score has actually dropped to 72 after more votes came in. But yeah, only 10% of people didn't like the movie. 70% thought it was a passable, mediocre, mid. Compared to If, which was a lot of people thought the movie was mediocre, but it seems like Garfield, you know, a lot of people who like the movie way more than they probably think. And judging based off the legs, it seems that Rotten Tomatoes again takes another L. Like with Godzilla, they said, but Godzilla was the worst movie ever. 0 out of 10. And they gave it like a 50%, and everybody went to go see that movie who wanted to see it. And of course, there's gonna be a lot of people going to watch it on streaming and on DVD and Blu-ray and at home, too. So that movie is gonna be a massive success. Kung Fu Panda 4 is a massive success. It just seems that the critics can't seem to win. Okay, this movie is gonna make more money. Garfield is gonna make more money than Furiosa will. It would be pretty funny. The movie that the critics loathe and hate are the movies that are making the most money besides Dune. Besides Dune, all the movies the critics hate, they're like, they're making all the money. Okay? And of course, according to these people, it's ruining the film industry that we're not listening to Rotten Tomatoes and YouTube critics. Okay? We're not listening to Seth Fuller's Productions, saying Booksmart is the best movie of 2019 when no one watched Booksmart. No one watched half of those movies on the list because no one gives a crap about what movie critics think. Okay? And no offense to Seth Fuller's Productions, he actually does make pretty great videos. So yeah. Especially his videos about Pikmin. He did help make Pikmin more popular. So I'm not saying he's a horrible creator, but I'm just including him as a YouTube critic. There's way more of these types of critics. Like all of them saying that Cars 2 is the worst movie ever. Like, there's lots of people who do like Cars 2. Okay. They can say and mold what people think about a movie online, but really, most people online, the actual opinions on movies are shaped by the critics, okay? I do not shape my views and opinions on movies based off what Rotten Tomatoes tells me, okay? Or, again, if a bad movie is a bad movie, like Dragon Ball Evolution, like, that movie was garbage, okay? But Batman and Robin, even though the movie is actually pretty bad, I did have a fun time watching the movie, okay? It was still fun. I still had fun watching the movie, okay? Yeah. I had fun watching the movie. It's funny, Batman and Robin is infamously considered one of the worst movies of all time. But I still had fun watching the movie. It wasn't like The Last Jedi, where I really fell asleep watching the movie. Okay. Now let's get back to the weekend shot here. And If is the next movie on the list. Again, this movie, they have not updated international numbers, but this movie is a massive box office failure. Yeah. Because no one really cares about this movie. It's also having pretty bad legs as well. Here. As well. So, yeah. Bad legs for If. Yeah. Next is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So, this movie needs to make $100 million more. Will we be able to make that $100 million more? Of course, there's no movies that could come in next week. So, it'll probably have a small drop next week as well. This movie is basically performing very similar to War of the Planet of the Apes. So yeah, War of the Planet of the Apes. Again, this is actually not pretty good for Disney. Because I think they want to make more Planet of the Apes movies afterwards. As well. Next is The Fall Guy. It is falling down. Yeah. This movie isn't doing too well. I think this movie will probably do well on streaming. This movie is already out on, digital. Yeah, this movie is already out on digital. So, this movie is doing pretty well. Legs-wise, I think it will do pretty well on streaming. It will definitely mitigate the massive loss this movie has created as well. But yeah. Next is Strangers Chapter 1. Yeah, this movie has broken even now. It's funny. This is considered one of the worst movies of the year. Oh, this is one of the few movies that make money. Sight? Why is this movie called Sight? Yeah, no one went to go see it. Not too surprising. Angel Studios has had one successful movie, and now they're making so many movies. Next is Challengers. This movie might actually do really well on streaming. As much as I say this, to say this movie is a massive box office failure, this movie has actually kind of went down below 50. I think this movie now below $50 million loss at this point, as it has had really good wigs. I do commend them for this wigs. Next is a movie called Babes. I'm surprised they didn't ban this movie for the offensive word babes, because I thought that's considered catcalling, but no one went to go see this movie. This was a limited to wide release movie, and yeah, no one went to go see it. It actually did worse when it went wide, so yeah. And last is Back to Black. No one went to go. No one's going to see this movie. I actually did listen to one of this girl's song, and immediately she started talking about penises. So I was like, yeah, I'm not listening to this anymore. And yeah, I think it was the title song, Back to Black. I was like, nope, not listening to that song. And that's about this video here. So what do you think about the current state of films? Not too bright, isn't it?